Hi, it's Jack Sweeney, co-host of the Workplace Champions podcast, where we highlight the thinking, insights, and commentary of talent-minded business leaders. I'm here with my co-host and resident thought leader, Brett Knowles. Brett, we're going to be featuring 4 different business leaders on the next episode of Workplace Champions, but right now we thought we'd just share one of those business leaders' comments with you and insights. This business leader is David Barnes, CFO of Trimble. Now I'm going to tee up the clip, Brett, and we'll invite you to share some thoughts on what David shares right after we hear from our workplace champion, David Barnes.
I'll start by saying that I've always viewed that the best finance leaders are the ones that can see the big picture. And in any big organization, having people aligned and motivated with the right talents and skills is essential to financial success. So that's sort of an enduring observation that if you're going to do your job well as a CFO, you really better understand what makes the people tick, how you make the company attractive to the right kind of talent, how you reward the right kind of talent, how you develop those people. So all of that has sort of always been essential. I think the pandemic changed my thinking in a few ways. One of them is that I think the trust of your employees is hard to measure, but is critically important. And that trust is tested when you have a lot of uncertainty and people are worried. And so we went through the early stages of the pandemic having really no basis to forecast how bad things might get. We knew we needed to cut our costs. We didn't want to do a massive layoff or do something that would be disruptive to our people and that would weaken the company longer term. So we went through a process of doing graduated salary reductions with the highest reductions for the most senior people like me, and actually no reduction for the people at the lowest end of the pay range, and everybody else was in between. And what was amazing to me, Jack, was that the engagement of our people went up, not down, when we went through this process. And I credit the leaders of this company for a long time, long before I got here, for developing that kind of trust with people, that you could have this holistic, collective commitment to the common purpose and common good. Now, we restored everyone's pay as soon as the world recovered faster than we thought. But boy, I learned that you need to have the faith and trust and commitment of all of your colleagues to be able to withstand a crisis. That's one observation. The other observation I'll make is much more pedestrian, which is that we have learned technology enables people to work in ways we never envisioned when they're not all in the office. We're just now figuring out what this means for the long term. We have a lot of experimentation going on within Trimble, working on different models. We're really empowering our frontline business leaders to figure out what model of in-person, in the office interaction is needed to do their work. But I think we will be more flexible than we used to be, which will enable us to get talent we wouldn't have had access to. If you expect everyone to drive to an office in Sunnyvale, California, or Westminster, Colorado, that sort of leaves out a lot of really smart people. And in many cases, we can attract talent in places that we wouldn't have before. So I think one of the really enduring great companies have this sense of common purpose, this commitment to one another, the sense that what the organization is doing is important, that the company has values they share. I credit the emerging younger generation with putting more emphasis than mine did on what kind of business they want to be a part of. And I think to be an effective finance leader, you do need to understand that equation. And I spend a lot of time with our HR teams working on that.
All right, David Trimble. Brett, I am quite interested in hearing what you make of what David shared. What would you like to point out to us?
Well, what I thought was interesting about it is when, if I were to say, what could your team do to build trust? what do you think of? You first think of that crazy offsite, trust drop, right? Where you're supposed to fall backwards to your trusted team, like, and other hokey stuff like that. What was interesting about this is, that falling backwards and trusting people to catch you is, forcing people to into a ritual to get an expected outcome. What they did here is they said, that again, to repeat it, that we have a business issue, we're going to have to cut back on costs, but we're not asking, like, and you know what the employees think at that point? Here it comes, my salary gets cut. And leadership says, so we're going to cut our salaries. We're going to cut leadership salaries, but not yours. We're going to protect your salary. We're going to take the cut. That's not asking the employee to fall backwards and trust we're going to catch you. That's us, going out there and saying, I'm not asking for your trust. I'm just giving it to you. I'm doing this for you to help all of us win. To me, like that's such a powerful statement. And that's exactly what a financial person should be doing. What a financial person should be doing is going, hey, I can use my instrument, the financial instrument, in this really creative way to deal with this issue that we have. What is the rest of us thought? The rest of us thought is, gosh, we'll take 10% off everyone's salary, which is okay. There's nothing wrong with it. But what he did, I thought, was just brilliant.
Thank you, Brett, for highlighting those takeaways for us. David Barnes, CFO of Trimble, is just one of 4 talent-minded business leaders we feature on the next episode of Workplace Champions. We hope you'll subscribe. You'll find us on Apple, Spotify, Google Play, and everywhere you listen to podcasts. Thanks for listening.